It's like The Notebook, except if you cared less about it and the acting was even worse and there was zero chemistry. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I know, I am a fashion icon, it's just a burden I bear. Get it? Today we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Bachelor in Paradise, so before we get started, be sure to subscribe because I put out new videos every single week and it helps me a whole bunch. Now, let's get to the action. Okay, first things first we gotta talk about is obviously the Angela and Clay drama. Angela's like, why is it weird that I'm here if Clay is here? I don't know, because Clay is already here. So you're choosing to go in a situation with your ex. Yeah, Clay is like, I just don't understand why someone would put themselves in the situation to be near their ex. Like, why would you do that? I'm like, because she got a call from the producers and Honey needs those Instagram followers to sell that fit tee. Also, I do also find it very sketchy that Clay didn't mention to anyone that Nicole is his girlfriend, and yet he just keeps talking about Angela like 24/7, like either get over her or clearly you have feelings for her and that's why you can't keep talking about her. You can keep talking about her. You can't stop talking about her. That made more sense. Also, the biggest revelation of the night, my boyfriend pointed out that Clay's voice sounds like Kermit the Frog and now I can't unhear it, so I've got that going for me, which is nice. The awkward thing though is whoever he picks, either it's Angela or Nicole, is gonna be Miss Piggy. So I had to look it up, obviously, if frogs are monogamous, considering that Clay is one, and turns out that they just mate and scram, so at least he's making his species proud. Also, another amazing fact by my eagle-eyed boyfriend is that Clay was very sweaty, so he's like, he's stressing out and he's lying because he's very, very sweaty, so I don't know how I never noticed that, but yeah, that's true. Then Angela decides to pick good old Big Mike on a date, and at first it's pretty normal, but then they get in a canoe for like this big of a pool, and I guess they're trying to make The Notebook because then it rains, but I wouldn't be surprised if the producers somehow figured out how to control the weather. It's like The Notebook, except if you cared less about it and the acting was even worse and there was zero chemistry. And we find out that apparently Clay did say I love you to Angela, so that's fun. Guess the boy, just keeps on lying. Anyways, we go back to the beach and we see that JPJ tells Haley that she was horny this morning. Okay. And Haley's like, all right, that was weird, but I'm gonna move on. And she's talking about how much she likes JPJ because he's so intelligent after we just made that comment, but I digress. Anyway, she's at the old breakfast table trying to get some nutrients in, and Derek comes by just trying to shoot the breeze with her and mentions how, yeah, isn't it crazy how JPJ is just so in love with Tayshia? And then Haley's just like, this is brand new information. And then Derek's just like, oh snap, I thought that you knew that. You did not know that. I'm the one who told you that. I'm sorry. So then Haley's like, ooh, this not about to happen. So Haley decides to confront JPJ, and honestly, in such an iconic move, she's just taking no prisoners and being like, yo, you didn't tell me you liked Tayshia, you said that you felt a connection with me, you gave me a rose, and apparently you're mad at Derek because he uses people and he lies to women and that's what you've been doing. Cue the Spider-Man, pointing at each other meme right here. And then JPJ just becomes so condescending. Like, before he was causing issues and starting fights with Derek, I'm like, okay, calm down. But now he's kind of becoming like chauvinistic, misogynistic, because he tells Haley, you're a big girl, you'll figure it out. Excuse me? If anyone ever said that to me, they would be getting the back of my hand to their stupid, stupid face. And then freaking JPJ is going at it again with Derek, and he just creates issues for no reason. Like, Tayshia doesn't want you, move on, you're not in charge of her, you're not someone who can say like who she's supposed to date, and it's not like you're even looking out for her best interest. You're literally just mad because you want her and you're upset that anyone else is looking at her. So in the stupid pointless JPJ and Derek fight, Derek talks about how he's like, yeah, I did say that you could sleep with a bunch of girls if you want, but I also said I don't do that because you see the issues it causes with like Blake and all that jazz. And like, let's just say for that maybe he did sleep with a bunch of people. That's his prerogative. If he meets someone on Instagram and she's like, yo, I love The Bachelor, and she's a social media influencer and she wants to get together and they want to have the sexy time, they're adults. That's his prerogative. He can do that as long as he's not sleeping with everyone on the beach and causing issues like Blake did. So I don't even know why JPJ is mad at it. Like, granted, that's not the most chivalrous thing to do, but it's not like he was doing it while he was trying to court Tayshia. Like, they're two separate entities. And it seems like Derek wasn't even doing that, so it's kind of a non-issue anyway. And then JPJ has the audacity to laugh in Derek's face. Like, I have never been so infuriated. But let's go to some nice stuff. Let's pick up the mood a little bit. Good old Matt Donald comes in, and he's just so precious and pure and just a little bean. And it's just confusing because Haley is like, oh my gosh, I just wanted to come down and just start kissing me. And it's like, girl, it's 2019. We can't be doing that. And when sweet, precious little farmer bean starts talking about how he has a date card, he says that he's 17 because his voice cracks. And I'm like, ooh, on thin ice, because I don't really think that a 17-year-old should be on a dating show. I guess Tayshia doesn't like Derek anymore either because she got excited when they showed up. Luke S., who I still love saying his name because it's like Lucas, but Luke S., and Matt are also wearing like the same white button down, so that's pretty precious. Sydney's excited too, so I guess she's over Mike, which I guess makes sense because Mike went on the date with Angela, so that's over. And I get that they can't tell us all the updates, but I just wish we had a little more knowledge about who likes who. Like maybe like a little graph in the corner of what couples are actually together in the moment, because it's a lot to keep track of. Christina mentions how Luke S. reminds her of Nick Viall, and you know, it's the poor man's Nick Viall, whatever, and she mentions she doesn't want her ex, and yet she agrees to go on a date with her. So just another example of Christina's freaking trash. Anyway, the four of them, Sydney, Matt, Luke, and Christina, go on a date where they eat a bunch of spicy stuff, and it's just really uncomfortable to watch, but it worked for Carly and Evan. Like, she literally threw up, and now they're married with children, so I mean, you know, it's spicy, you know, it's hot, but like, not really, because there's no chemistry. We get to see Sydney and Matt talking in a more romantic moment on their date, and he mentions that his family is deaf, so he knows how to do sign language, and she's like, oh, how do you do kiss me? And he's like, he shows her, and then she just like signs it over and over and over again, you know, like thinking he'll pick up on it and like kiss her. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, she says it, and then he'll say something, and she'd be like, he could say like, oh, the sky's really blue, and she'd be like, yeah, it is. Or he'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna poop so much later because I ate all those peppers. And she'd be like, oh my gosh, samesies. But then we find out that he doesn't want to kiss her because apparently he's like being romantic and wants to wait till their relationship progresses, so like, that's kind of cute. So back on the beach, Tayshia decides to break up with Derek, and I do kind of feel bad for the dude because he does get broken up with a lot. He does seem like a pretty stand-up guy, and he does just keep getting told, like, you're amazing, you're awesome, you're like the perfect guy, just not for me. So I do feel kind of bad for the dude. Haley and Derek both mention how they always get told how amazing they are, but they're just not right for that person, and it makes me think, why don't they get together? Ultimately, at the end of the episode, Derek decides to go home because he's just really over being in the friend zone. And he says goodbye to everyone and actually starts tearing up. And then I get kind of emotional because he's very sincere and I actually, like, want him to find love. He seems like a stand-up guy. But anyway, that's the end of that episode. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me. If you did, be sure to subscribe because I always talk about every single episode of Bachelor in Paradise. And we have another episode tonight, so be sure to subscribe so you can come back tomorrow and we can talk more, spill more tea. Subscribe.